The verdict of stars. The Galactic Confederation had observed Earth for centuries. They watched as humans crawled from their cradles of primitive technology toward the stars. They monitored our wars, our advancements, our stubborn refusal to give up even when logic dictated surrender. They analyzed our rapid technological growth, faster than any species they had cataloged in 50,000 years of galactic civilization. And they were terrified. The motion carries, Supreme Arbiter Orcs announced, her crystalline voice echoing through the Grand Chamber. By unanimous vote of the Confederation Council, humanity is hereby designated a Class 5 volatile species. Earth will be placed under quarantine indefinitely. The Confederation representatives from 300 worlds murmured their agreement. The evidence was irrefutable. In mere centuries, humans had progressed from simple combustion engines to rudimentary fusion, from primitive radio to quantum communications, from chemical rockets to the first experimental warp drives. Why not simply eliminate them? Asked Ambassador Vreen of the Tory Collective, his chitinous mandibles clicking with impatience. Our projections indicate a 78.3% probability they will develop interstellar capabilities within 50 years. Better to remove the threat now. Admiral Kalashaks rose from her seat, the 12 appendages of her military uniform glittering with medals of service. Because, Ambassador, that would violate our most sacred principle of non-extinction. The quarantine will be sufficient. The decision was made. Within days, a fleet of 8,000 Confederation vessels surrounded Earth. They did not announce their presence or make contact. Instead, they established a silent blockade, an impenetrable barrier of advanced technology designed to keep humanity trapped in its own solar system. On Earth, governments were thrown into chaos as every deep space probe suddenly went dark. Communications beyond Mars abruptly ceased. The strange energy readings that scientists detected at the edge of the solar system were incomprehensible. But one thing was clear. Something or someone had sealed Earth off from the rest of the universe. Commander Elena Reyes stood before the United Earth Defense Council, her dark eyes reflecting the determination that had made her legendary among Earth's unified military forces. "We're trapped," she stated plainly, but not helpless. For 10 years, Reyes had led the classified Prometheus Division, a secret coalition of Earth's most brilliant scientists and strategists. Their sole purpose: prepare humanity for the possibility that we were not alone in the universe, and that our first contact might not be peaceful. "The Prometheus Protocol is now in effect," she continued. "If they won't let us join them among the stars, then we'll build our own path forward." The Council approved her proposal unanimously. Within months, hidden facilities were constructed beneath the surface of Mars, Europa, and deep within Earth's oceanic trenches. The most advanced projects were moved to these secure locations, shielded from whatever surveillance technology the unseen blockade might possess. Humanity had always thrived when backed into a corner. Now, isolated from the galaxy, a silent revolution began. Years passed. The first generation born under the quarantine grew up looking at the stars not with wonder, but with defiance. Earth's most brilliant minds, working in complete secrecy, made breakthroughs that would have been impossible under normal circumstances. Dr. Amara Okafor's team developed quantum entanglement technology that allowed instantaneous communication across vast distances, a system that somehow bypassed the mysterious barrier surrounding the solar system. Engineer Jin Hikaru created the first functional nanomaterial hull that could absorb and redirect almost any form of energy. And in the deepest facility on Europa, physicist Dr. Viktor Petrov discovered something that would change everything: the Nexus Principle. "It's not just another dimension," Petrov explained to Commander Reyes during a secure briefing. "It's a layer of reality that exists parallel to our own, where the normal laws of physics don't apply. And we found a way to access it." 20 years after the quarantine began, humanity was ready. Operation Phantom was authorized with minimal discussion. The first ship designed to penetrate the blockade was unlike anything built before. Named the Defiance, it resembled no conventional spacecraft. Its hull shimmered with microscopic nanomaterials that bent light around it. Its propulsion system utilized the Nexus principle to slip between the cracks of conventional space. And its crew, 20 of Earth's finest, prepared to be the first humans to break free in a generation. "We have no idea what's waiting for us out there," Commander Rice told the crew during their final briefing. She had aged during the long years of preparation, silver streaking her once black hair, but her eyes burned with the same intensity. "Your mission is reconnaissance only. Learn everything you can about who imprisoned us and why. Then return home so we can plan our next move." Captain Maya Santos nodded solemnly. At 32, she had been selected to lead this crucial mission not only for her tactical brilliance, but for her diplomatic skills. "And if we're discovered, avoid engagement if possible," Rice replied. "But if confrontation becomes inevitable, show them what humanity is capable of." The Defiance launched during a solar storm, additional cover to mask its departure. It approached the boundary where all previous probes had gone silent. The crew held their breath as the ship's systems engaged its Nexus drive. For a brief moment, reality itself seemed to twist. Then, the Defiance slipped through what should have been an impenetrable barrier, leaving the solar system behind for the first time in 20 years. Captain Santos stared at the unfamiliar stars through the view screen. "We're through," she whispered. "Send the confirmation signal." Back on Earth, Commander Reyes received the encrypted quantum transmission. A single word: freedom. She allowed herself a rare smile. Phase 1 was complete. The Defiance spent 3 months exploring nearby star systems, carefully avoiding detection. They discovered bustling trade routes, diverse alien species, and enormous space stations, a thriving galactic community that humanity had been forcibly excluded from. Most importantly, they gathered intelligence on the Galactic Confederation, the massive coalition of species that had deemed humanity too dangerous to join their ranks. "Their technology is advanced," Captain Santos reported through the secure quantum link, "but not as advanced as they think. They've grown complacent. Their ships have weaknesses. Their defense systems have blind spots." Commander Rice listened intently as the intelligence poured in. "And the blockade around Earth, maintained by automated sentinels mostly. They rotate larger ships through the containment zone, but it's clearly not their priority. They believe the quarantine is absolute, that nothing could possibly penetrate it." "Perfect," Rice replied. "Continue your mission. We're accelerating production on this end." Across the solar system, hidden shipyards that had been preparing for this moment sprang into full operation. The technologies developed during the quarantine were implemented on a massive scale. On Mars, enormous factories built stealth ships by the dozen. On Europa, research teams refined the Nexus drive for larger vessels. On Earth, military academies secretly trained crews for the fleet that would soon emerge from hiding. 25 years after being cast aside by the galaxy, humanity was about to reveal just how dangerous they truly were. The Reckoning. Supreme Arbiter Orcs of the Galactic Confederation frowned at the report before her. 3 outposts on the edge of Confederation space had gone silent within the past month. Initial investigations found nothing but empty stations, no signs of battle, no distress signals, just abandoned facilities with their data cores wiped clean. "Pirates, perhaps," suggested Security Director Malbrax, his 4 eyes blinking nervously. Admiral Kalashax shook her head. "Pirates leave bodies. Pirates steal valuable materials. This is something else." Before they could discuss further, an aide rushed into the chamber, protocol forgotten in his haste. "Supreme Arbiter, we've lost contact with Monitoring Station Epsilon 9. Hexorix's frown deepened. "The quarantine station, the one observing the human system." "Yes, Arbiter, the entire station. Gone." The implications settled over the room like a shroud. For 25 years, the quarantine around Earth had been absolutely effective. No human ship had ever been detected attempting to break through. The volatile species had seemingly accepted their isolation, or so they had believed. Admiral Galactic immediately dispatched a battle group to investigate. The 12 warships that arrived at the former location of monitoring station Epsilon 9 found nothing but debris, and something else that sent chills through the crew. "The quarantine field is down," the fleet commander reported, his voice tight with tension. "Completely disabled. And there's no sign of the automated sentinels. They've been removed." Across the Confederation, alerts went out. Defense fleets mobilized. For the first time in centuries, the mighty Galactic Confederation prepared for what might be an existential threat. But they were already too late. The human fleet didn't appear on any sensors until it was directly over Tauri Prime, the homeworld of Ambassador Vreen, the same diplomat who had advocated for humanity's extinction 25 years earlier. 100 ships of unknown configuration, their hulls shimmering like oil on water, their energy signatures unlike anything in Confederation records. "This is Admiral Elena Reyes of the United Earth Fleet," came the transmission on all frequencies. 25 years ago, you judged humanity without trial and sentenced us to isolation. Today, that sentence ends. The Confederation's response was predictable. They attacked. Thousands of warships converged on the human fleet from neighboring systems. Energy weapons fired, missiles launched, fighter squadrons deployed, and accomplished nothing. The human vessels employed defenses unlike anything the Confederation had encountered. Hull materials that absorbed energy weapons, countermeasures that confused targeting systems, and most alarmingly, a propulsion technology that allowed them to simply disappear from one location and reappear at another, making them nearly impossible to hit. "We could have destroyed this world," Admiral Reyes continued as the Confederation attacks proved futile. "We could have eliminated your leadership, your military installations, your civilian populations. That's what you feared we would do, isn't it? That's why you locked us away." On Tauri Prime, Ambassador Vreen watched the sky with a combination of terror and awe. The human ships hung there, powerful and untouched by the Confederation's most devastating weapons. Instead, Rice continued, "We're going to show you what humanity truly is, not through destruction, but through demonstration." The human fleet vanished again, not retreating, but advancing. Over the next week, they appeared over 20 of the Confederation's most critical worlds. Military headquarters, shipyards, trade hubs. Each time, they neutralized defenses without causing casualties, disabled key systems, and departed before the Confederation could mount an effective response. On the Confederation capital world of Axiom, Supreme Arbiter Orcs convened an emergency session of the full council. "We cannot defeat them conventionally," Admiral Galactic admitted, her voice heavy with the weight of military failure. "Their technology has advanced beyond our projections, beyond anything we thought possible." "How?" demanded a representative from the Meridian cluster. "They were contained, isolated. How did they develop such capabilities?" An intelligence analyst stepped forward. "Preliminary analysis suggests they've discovered what we call the void domain, what they term the nexus. It's a theoretical realm our scientists have speculated about for centuries, but never managed to access." Silence fell over the chamber as the implications became clear. The humans, in just 25 years of isolation, had accomplished what the Confederation, with all its combined knowledge, had failed to achieve in millennia. Before the Council could debate further, the chamber's security systems faltered. The massive doors slid open, revealing a single human woman. Admiral Elena Reyes walked calmly into the heart of the Galactic Confederation's governing body, unarmed but projecting absolute authority. "I believe," she said as stunned representatives reached for weapons or communication devices that no longer functioned, "that it's time we negotiated new terms." The next 6 hours would be remembered as the Axiom Concord, the conversation that fundamentally reshaped galactic politics. Admiral Reyes, speaking for a united Earth, did not demand reparations or revenge. Instead, she proposed integration. "Isolation taught us something valuable," she explained to the assembled representatives of 300 worlds. It showed us what we're capable of when united against a common threat. But we don't want to be your enemy. We want to be your wake-up call. She outlined a vision where humanity would join the Confederation not as subjects, but as equals, where Earth's technologies would be shared, gradually and with appropriate safeguards, where the stagnation that had settled over galactic civilization would be replaced with innovation and progress. Your fear of change led you to try to contain us, Rice continued. But change is inevitable. Evolution is inevitable. We can guide it together, or we can clash as enemies. The choice is yours. In private chambers afterward, Supreme Arbiter Orcs met with Admiral Rice alone. You could have destroyed us, the Arbiter noted. Your Nexus technology gives you a military advantage we cannot counter. Rice nodded. We could have. Some among us wanted exactly that. But humanity's greatest strength isn't our capacity for violence. It's our capacity for growth, for adaptation. We don't want to rule the galaxy. We want to help it evolve. And if we refuse your generous offer? Orcs asked, her crystalline voice carrying a note of resigned understanding. Then we'll continue to demonstrate our capabilities until you reconsider, Rice replied simply. But I think you're wiser than that. 3 days later, the Galactic Confederation formally lifted the quarantine on Earth. Human representatives were welcomed into the council chambers, not as petitioners, but as powerful allies. Across the galaxy, species that had feared the volatile humans now watched with a mixture of anxiety and anticipation as Earth ships began to appear in their systems, not as conquerors, but as traders, explorers, diplomats. And deep within the hidden research facilities that humanity had built during their isolation, scientists continued to unlock the secrets of the Nexus. Their work had only just begun. The species that had been rejected by the galaxy had not just survived, they had transformed. And now, the galaxy itself would be transformed in return. As Admiral Rice stood on the observation deck of her flagship, watching the diverse alien ships approach Earth for the first diplomatic summit, she reflected on the journey that had brought them here. They thought isolation would weaken us, she murmured. Instead, it forged us into something greater than we ever could have been otherwise. The stars no longer represented a barrier or a distant dream. They were humanity's inheritance. And now, they would be humanity's legacy.